Guys, we have a huge info dump of the Turtle WoW 2.0. Now, if you didn't catch my live stream or the live streams hosted by Turtle WoW, this video is pretty much going to condense all the important information from all of that into a shorter video for you guys to stomach. So, first things first, what is Turtle WoW 2.0? Not quite what you think of. It's not going to be what Duskhaven is doing in terms of their 2.0. Instead, it is going to be an Unreal Engine update. If I can, I'll try to put some screenshots here, but all we have right now to go off of is the trailer. Now, the trailer only shows off really lighting enhancements and some extra foliage. You do see some texture updates, but in general, it's mostly just the lighting, right? Now, that's not to say that they're going to just be that. There's a lot more to unpack here, but I'm going through my notes in order, so we'll get there in a moment. First things first, when is this coming out? Next year. This is going to be coming out next year in 2025. When in 2025? I don't know. It could be the summertime, which would be an exact 1 year from now, or it could be late 2025, which would be a year and a half. Now then, there will be plenty, they said plenty, of beta and even alpha testing from closed to even open towards the end. So they want to make sure that this is good for the mass audience and the public. So they want to extensively test this as they add more stuff to it. Right now it's not ready for testing, so don't expect to play it right now. Possibly next year, probably springtime, summertime, when they're getting ready closer to releasing it, they will start having more and more testing phases. Now then, as I said before, it's not going to be just the new lighting and the grass, whatever. They do plan on adding HD textures and models. Now, that's not saying it's all going to be the new models from the newer expansions. Some of them, yes, they will be downported models. Others, they will in fact handcraft. Now then, in terms of buildings, the trees, rocks, stuff like that, just placeable items, I'm completely fine with overhauling them completely or just downporting them from the newer expansions, because it looks fine on the new expansions, or they could just completely bring it over or make it from scratch. That's fine. But with the characters themselves, one of the reasons why I don't like the newer characters of the newer expansions is primarily due to the animations. The animations just look way too like bouncy and bubbly, while the other ones we're just more used to, and they're not as I mentioned, bouncy and whatever. So if they're able to reuse the old animations but add in better textures, that would be the ideal thing, to update the textures but leave the animations of the old models, if they can. Now then, there will be a legacy mode, so legacy mode versus modern mode. So if you're not down for the brand new look of it and you want Turtle WoW to remain as vanilla in terms of the looks and aesthetics, it's completely up to you. You can play legacy mode or you can play modern mode. It's literally a switch that you can just turn on and off, which World of Warcraft, the retail version, tried to do that. Unfortunately, it didn't work that well. I remember it didn't work that well, and eventually it did phase out, so you can no longer do it in the current game. Now, if you want the brand new textures, new models, all that kind of stuff, while you're playing your vanilla WoW, are you going to be able to run it? Does it look like it's going to catch your computer on fire? Be thankful it's not going to do that. Now, I don't have the exact specs right here, but when I was going through it on my live stream, we looked at the various specs, and it looks like it can run on a middle-of-the-road to even a below-average computer, as I believe it said it needed like a 1060 graphics card and like a piece of shit like i3, i5, no, I think it was like an i3 processor, so it's gonna need like 4 gigabytes of RAM at the most. So it really can run on almost every single computer, and not only that, it's gonna be able to run on some other stuff too. We'll get to that in a second. Now then, unlike a certain private server that we all know and love / hate, this will not be pay to play. You will be able to play this brand new engine for free. Yes, free. They are not putting this behind a paywall. The moment it's up, you can jump on and play it. Now, the reason why they're doing this, there's going to be a bunch of reasons coming up pretty soon, but the primary umbrella reason is that they want to extend the life of the original World of Warcraft beyond just emulation, which is why they are turning this into a brand new core. We'll get to that in a second. Now then, is this going to delay at all any of the brand new content that they're coming out with, such as the Scarlet Citadel raid, such as the Karazhan raid, all that kind of stuff? No, it's not going to delay. They are not going to be affected at all because they have two different teams working on this project, on this server rather. So you have the team working on the 1.17 and beyond, and you have another team named the Council of Tirisfal team as the 2.0 team, which their primary function is to copy and paste everything into this new core and port it over. So because of that, there should be no delays. Now then, with that being said, they are, with the Unreal Engine 5, developing their own core. Now, I don't believe they have a name for it other than just Turtle WoW Core. Henceforth, I'm just going to be naming it the Turtle Core. I think it's a little bit easier to say, rolls off the tongue better. So, the Turtle Core is what I'm coining it as. It's going to be completely their own built thing that they have their team currently working on making. So, now, as for a launcher, they do plan, I believe, having a launcher eventually. However, they have nothing to say on it as of right now, so the launcher is TBA. Now the old client, the one that we are currently using, will it still work? At the start, yes. So the old client will work for a period of time during their transition period. So once the new one launches, it's good to go into the launch, you're ready to play, the old one will still remain for those people who just cannot upgrade yet, or they're just so used to it that they just want to keep playing it. So for a time, they didn't specify how long or how short, both of them will be playable. Though eventually, the old client will phase out and it will just be the new client. Again, there's no time frame of how long that is going to be. Now, in terms of all of your saved settings, keybinds, all that kind of stuff, your characters, don't worry, it should all transfer over seamlessly. It should copy and paste with a few clicks of your button. They said that you'll have like a thing in order to help you transfer it over seamlessly. So all of your saves, keybinds, as I just said, will be transferred over. Your characters are not going to get wiped. You will still be playing your same characters on the exact same server. There will be no wipes of anything, including your characters and all of your equipment, everything. There will be no fresh server, so that's another thing. So there's not going to be an additional server. It's going to be the exact same servers that we are already playing on. Now, why are they going this route of making their new core on a Unreal Engine? So there's tons of reasons. I already said the umbrella reason, but really, in essence, it makes development easier. So with that in mind, there's the potential to create tons of new content without the restrictions of 1.12 and even 3.3.5. Now, that's not to say that they're going to have brand new content at the launch. They might have small quality of life stuff, but they plan for hard-end content to be added after the launch. But that's just for content built in the Unreal Engine. The content planned coming up down the line up until the 2.0 launch is still going to happen, so you're not going to be missing out on Karazhan while this is in development. What are some things in mind that they plan on adding in this new core? First of all, an achievement system. Now, we've had an achievement system before. Theirs might function a little bit differently, but an achievement system is an achievement system. It's pretty much the same for most of any game. They will be bringing back guild housing. Now, if you didn't play in the early days of Turtle WoW or don't remember, there were guild housing in the game, but because it was like a 200 player server, it was very small, what would happen is you would have a large enough guild who would have to go through the necessary steps in order for the development team to build them an in-world roleplay guild house, basically. And it was, the primary purpose was for role-playing, it wasn't for anything in particular. However, it was eventually halted because of the influx of so many players. They could not keep up with the demand of building more player areas. And on top of that, they eventually scrapped it altogether because people were abusing the system of the teleports to teleport around the world for ease of access of materials and stuff. So it will be returning, as well as the development of a player housing system. And I mentioned this in my live stream. The player housing system, the key to this is UI management. It has to be clean, it has to be player friendly. That is the biggest thing for the guild housing, for the player housing, anything like that. UI is the key. So, and I also, in my live stream, went through the argument of garrisons versus player housing, so I'm not going to get into that in this video. Go watch my stream if you want to hear that argument, or I'll just battle you in the comments below. Come at me, bro. Anyway, so the next thing is quality of life. Now, I also mentioned this, that they didn't specify of what kind of quality of life, because in essence, small quality of life things. I know there's a lot of the hashtag no changes people that say no changes at all kind of stuff in terms of the core of vanilla. I will argue with some things are proper or mandatory in my opinion, such as my examples I used before were not having your mount drown when you're in the water, not being dismounted when you're trying to swim across the water, or if you didn't jump far enough over a little river, it kind of sucks. Or if you're a hunter, having that automatic switch between melee and ranged when you're running in and out of combat between your enemy is a big bonus. And there's tons of other things included in that. I just can't think of them at the moment. But anyway, so they did say quality of life, but to the extent we don't know. They will be saying that there is no flying. There's going to be no flying mounts, no flying. So that's the thing. Now, with that, remember how I said that they plan on adding in new features? Not completely out of the question, not off the table, but not confirmed. Possible, maybe, dance studio. Again, and that's not confirmed, it's just a possibility. They will look into it, but it would be pretty awesome if they're the first server ever to do the dance studio. They're already the first one to make an Unreal Engine client, so this is going to be already pretty big. But anyway, in terms of big, not that. Get your head out of the gutter. They plan with this new core, they should be able to host bigger and better world events, because it will be possible to have more players active at the time without the handicap of the 1.12 client. So, with that being said, it's even possible for them to unlock or increase the cap, rather, of raid groups. You can have 100 player plus outdoor raids. They said it's not confirmed if they're going to have one, it would just be possible to do one. So, with that being said, it's also pretty much out there that it's going to be a larger server size, like a server capacity size, rather. As for the cap, we don't know. So, I don't exactly remember what the server cap is for, a normal World of Warcraft server. Just for the sake of argument, let's just say it's 2,000. I know it's more than that, let's just say it's 2,000. That's the hard cap. With this being, better made, not as much handicaps and restrictions, it can go from 2,000 to 10,000. So there would be a cap eventually, we just don't know what it would be until we actually get there. But it is possible we are going to have a ton of more people on this, which makes me wonder if, because of that, they will merge servers into one. I don't know if they would do that, but it's possible. They didn't really talk much about it. Now, remember how I said earlier that UI is the key? Now, two things that they added in the Turtle WoW that's already in Turtle WoW is transmog system and guild banks. However, again, with the restrictions of 1.12, it feels not as good. The terrible UI and the functionality of it, they feel more like crappy add-ons to the game. So with that, they plan on going back, redeveloping those systems to not make it feel as if it's just an added-on clunky mess. And it's going to be part of the, like, it's going to be integrated into the game itself. So that's always a good thing. Now, beyond just what you're going to expect in terms of in the game, the client itself is going to provide tons of unique things that a ton of other private servers and their clients are not going to be able to provide you, such as controller support. They did say that they will be looking into controller support for Turtle WoW with this brand new Turtle Core. There will be proper widescreen support, including what's the terminology? To stretch it across multiple screens. I personally wouldn't do that. I think that's kind of stupid, but you will be able to do that across multiple screens, just widescreen support in general. There will be a built-in multi-language support. Now, that's what they said originally in their post. During the live stream, he kind of pulled back a little bit on that and said it might not be possible to do languages. I think the default of Unreal Engine should be able to, but I don't know as to how far it will go, and that's probably why he dialed it back a bit, because he wanted to temper expectations. Now, I know there's a lot of people who don't speak English. I know I have one fan who comments all the time who only speaks Russian, so I have to use Google Translate to kind of communicate with them. But they always ask, you know, hey, this new server you cover, does it have Russian support? Unfortunately, no. And then they are sad because they need Russian support. They can't speak English. So having multiple languages is always a plus, and I believe it should be built into the system. And it should be much easier with this new core. But anyway, continuing on, besides that, ability action queuing should be fixed so it's not as laggy as it is currently in the game. And it's the same thing as spell batching, where it's kind of taking into consideration the time delay between your port to the server and yada yada. So with that, most of those restrictions and limitations should be minimalized or gone. There will be brand new accessibility modes with text-to-speech. No, it's not going to be a roleplay mod. It's not going to have the characters speak it out to you. It's just a text-to-speech, color-blind mode, and so on. They even said something about helping players with blindness in order to play, which I'm not quite sure how that works, but okay. They said that they're going to be adding accessibility modes. Now then, going back to this, it will be multi-platform. So it will be supported on, of course, your PC. It will be on Android phones, Android tablets, Steam Deck, Android TV is a maybe. So yes, it will have multi-platform capabilities. However, while it is, I believe, possible to be on a console, they will not be providing console support because they don't want to get in trouble with Microsoft or Sony. So you will not be able to play on a console, but all the other mobile devices that I mentioned should be able to. And they said they might try for Switch, however, they're not sure if Nintendo would let them either. And on top of that, there will be cross-play. So if you play on your phone, if you play on your tablet, on your TV, on wherever you're playing it from, you will still be able to log on to the exact same server as everyone else on the PC. Now, this is not the first MMO to do this. OSRS does this already. I play sometimes on my phone, and sometimes I play on the computer. Either way, it's my same character on the same server. So it's not the first time it has been done. Now, besides the crossplay, Mac and Linux. As of right now, there is no plans for it. However, it is a maybe that they should or might be able to make Mac and Linux support. In terms of modding, 1.12 mods, the majority of what we have should be preserved, and they should be functional on this new Turtle Core. However, the graphic mods that people use to bring over like Warlords of Draenor or Legion graphics into 1.12. Those may not work. They might not be supported because this is already going to be messing with the textures already, so it won't be able to read it as easily. So those might not work, but your damage meters, your bag add-ons, anything that would work in a 1.12 should be able to carry over no problem. On top of that, the Unreal Engine, they are developing a modding tool for people to develop mods within this new engine core. So plenty of brand new mods to be made using this new core and the tools that they're going to provide. Now the bugs. They did not, unfortunately, talk about if they are going to look into and fix old bugs that we already have in the 1.12 client, but they didn't say anything about that, but they said that with this new core, it is possible that new bugs might hop over, or new bugs might develop, rather. So that's something to look forward to. They didn't quite talk much about that, but I expect to learn more about it in the future once they're more down the line in development. With that being said, I got 3 more things to go through. New anti-cheat system. Now, with 1.12, if you're just looking at that in general, it's been around for 20 years, right? So plenty of people know how to go in and mess around with the coding. Now, if we're just looking at the clients, or the cores themselves, which were fan-developed, you know, the V-Mangos, the Trinity core, the Azeroth core, those are fan-developed cores to run and emulate the game. Those, again, have been around now for 10 years, roughly. It's been around for quite a while, so players have now gotten used to it and developed ways of cheating within those systems. So with this being a brand new core on an Unreal Engine, everything should be brand new in a sense. It would be not the exact same methods of cheating, and it would be harder just by default for people to cheat within the game. But on top of just that basic defaultness, which eventually people would be able to get into, on top of that, they will be developing a brand new anti-cheat system that will be running into the game. And with how it works, if somebody is phasing through the world, they should be able to detect it right away and instant ban them. So they're going to try to prevent all forms of cheating, botting, the gold farming, all that kind of stuff. They should be able to handle it much easier and better than they currently are. And on top of that, with the security, they said that they definitely will be looking into better security systems for this server with this new core, so you shouldn't have to worry about anything getting leaked. Though they will look into a possibly a two-factor system of authentication to get on, so that it's an added level of security. So if your password is lost, it's not game over. It's an extra lock for them to try to go through. Now, the last thing is that, well, all of this sounds brand new and shiny. They are just going to continue on their path of Vanilla Plus, and they will not be doing TBC or Wrath of the Lich King. So, I still want them to make a Warcraft 3-esque Northrend. Come on, guys. Warcraft 3-esque Northrend. Do it! Anyway, so yeah, that's going to be it for this video. Tons and tons of information that has come out. I've tried to get as much as I can, at least all the important tidbits. As more news comes out, they do plan on doing developer blogs as they are more into development. As more and more comes out, I will be covering this, obviously. Hopefully, I get into the closed beta and alpha, and they'll let me stream it or record it, or at least talk about it or something, because I would love to cover that as well. Besides that, I will see you guys in the next video. Let me know in the comments down below what you think of these new this brand new Turtle WoW core, and how long until you think other private servers are going to start copying them. How long do you think until Ascension copies them or something like that? Because that'd be kind of funny. Anyway, see see you next time.